What do Hamilton, Washington and brain science have in common? Well, that's what I want to talk about today. Hey everyone, it's Gregory from Brain Academy. I just came back from a truly inspiring trip where I got to immerse myself in some of the most iconic moments of early American history. I saw Hamilton on Broadway, visited the historical triangle in Virginia and explored Washington, D.C. Now, this journey got me thinking about the importance to rise above oneself and how these early events shaped not just a nation, but also offer powerful lessons in personal development and brain science. Let's dive in. So first off, Hamilton, wow. You know, the show, it really brought history to life. The music, the energy, it was hypnotizing. Alexander Hamilton, an immigrant with a vision, rising from nothing to become a key figure in the creation of the United States. The passion, the ambition, the relentless drive, it was all there. But what struck me the most was how the musical captured the essence of who we are and what we're capable of. You know, we as human beings, we're weak, we have flaws, we make mistakes, and we do that all the time. But then at the same time, we have this capacity to rise above, to create something lasting. And it all starts with a vision of what could be. So then I visited the historical triangle, Jamestown, Williamsburg, Yorktown, you know, where the seeds of America were sown. Walking through these places, you can feel the humble beginnings, you know, how insignificant it all was. Jamestown, the first settlement, was only inhabited by about 200 colonists. Williamsburg, the first capital, had about 1,800 inhabitants. That's not a capital. That's like a big village or something. Life was harsh back then. If you decided to go and live there, it was a gamble at best. You needed to be desperate or visionary to take that decision. It was a whole new world that had to be defined and created. And finally, I went to Washington, D.C., the heart of American power. There was something majestic about D.C., something visionary. To me, it felt like sort of New Rome or New Alexandria, you know, with all these temple-like buildings. And when they designed that place, they knew they would become a world power. It was all there, the vision, the ambition. It would take another 150 years to get there, and a lot of blood, sweat and tears, a lot of sacrifices. But those first guys, they knew. You don't build a place like that just because you like the view. The vision was there all along. It just needed time to come to fruition. Now, all of this got me thinking. What is it that makes certain individuals rise above their circumstances to create something new, something visionary, right? So, what does brain science have to say about this? Now, our brains have an incredible ability to imagine the future. Scientists believe this is one of the things that separate us from other animals. We can see what is not there yet, right? So this means we can prepare for it, we can plan for it, we can work towards it and make it come true. But it all starts with that first vision, that first creative spark of imagination which led us to see what is not there yet. And for that we have our prefrontal cortex to thank for, right? That part of the brain that is overdeveloped in humans. Again, that makes sense, as this capacity to envision the future would be unique to us, just like the overdeveloped prefrontal cortex. But hold on, it's not only our prefrontal cortex, because that one is responsible for complex planning, decision-making, abstract thinking, that kind of stuff. That part is way too logical to give us a vision of a distant future. In order to have a vision, whether it's starting a new nation or simply improving our own lives, we need more. We need that magical spark of creativity, which the PFC can't deliver by itself. It's way too rational for that. You see, the prefrontal cortex doesn't work in a vacuum. It's highly connected to all the other parts of the brain. So scientists more and more refer to systems and networks in our brain when they describe the source of complex human behavior and cognition. Our brain structures don't operate in isolation. It's all connected. And so it goes with having a vision as well. It uses the prefrontal cortex in the front, the insular cortex on the sides, and lo and behold, the occipital lobes in the back. Yes, that part of the brain that processes the input from our eyes, our vision literally, is active when we envision the future. This combination of brain activity is called the default mode network, and it's active when we daydream. It's reminiscent of our brain activity during the night when we actually dream. So yes, when we say we have a vision or a dream, well, Yes, that's exactly the same network we're using. But look, that default mode network that we use to envision a grand future is the same network that we use to ruminate and see everything in black. It leads to anxiety and depression. When we let our fears and insecurities take over, we lose our capacity to rise up. That's also the reason why so many of us stay stuck. We let ourselves be ruled by the fear centers in our brain, and when they take over, the only thing we see is doubt and all the ways we won't be able to make it. Sounds familiar? So you see, in order to rise above ourselves, we need to silence our fears, our insecurities, our mistakes and flaws from the past. We have to become aspirational. We can't let who we are, with all our shortcomings, step in the way of what could be, of who we could be. Leaders like Hamilton and Washington were masters at this. Despite their many flaws, they had a clear vision. That vision led Washington to step down after only 2 terms as president. That wasn't just a political decision, it was an act of long-term thinking, a vision. He understood that true leadership is about more than just holding on to power. It's about laying the groundwork for something greater than oneself, right? At that point, he rose above himself because he could see what everybody else couldn't. So how can we apply these lessons to our own lives? Well, it all starts with letting go of our own fears and insecurities so we can access the full range of our default mode network. Then ask yourself, what do you want to achieve? What legacy do you want to leave behind? What's in it for the long term? Once you've defined that, keep that close to your heart, and whenever in doubt, refer back to it. And remember, having a vision is just the beginning. It's about taking action, pushing through obstacles. It takes a lot of sweat, blood and tears, a lot of perseverance. But when the vision is strong enough, even if you fall, it will allow you to rise again and again. The history of the United States is filled with incredible examples of vision and leadership. From Hamilton's rise to Washington's restraint, these stories remind us that with the right mindset, we can rise above our circumstances and create something truly lasting. Whether you're looking to make a big change in your life or simply, become the best version of yourself. Remember, start with a vision, take consistent action, and never let fear dominate your choices. Thanks for joining me on this journey through history and brain science. Leave a like and subscribe if you want more of these videos, and tell me in the comments how you see history and brain science coming together. Brain out.
Sharpen your mind.